Welcome to Good Curler Steve Reads a Comic, and today I'm going to try something different with this particular video. This is not going to be streamed live. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this comic live. So I'm going to pause the video for every page. Enjoy the comic, read it, read the page, and then come back to this video and give my thoughts on the page, on the art, the panels, the writing. So basically you're going to see me go through this comic for the first time. And the music in the background, so this is, I'm using a memo tune, which is an AI. It's, I guess, I don't even know if we can call it an LLM, but I think it is an LLM that generates music, a large language model, but it's called a memo tune. And I'm able to influence it based on what I'm reading. Right now it's just a default kind of ambient sound I created, but in a moment we're going to hear music that is based primarily on the theme of fire and ice, Nekron. All right, so let's explore this cover. All right, let's take a closer look at that cover. As I mentioned, I just finished generating a song for this based primarily on this cover. In fact, I uploaded this cover to Memo Tune, and what we're hearing is the result. This song is called Nekron's Throne. What I love about this is I can play music without the fear of copyright infringement, which pretty much gets your account deleted these days. Okay, so what do we got here? This is Fire and Ice Nekron, prequel to the cult classic 1983, the animated film by Frank Frazetta and Ralph Bakshi. I always say that name wrong. Bakshi. So this is really the backstory. This is how Nekron came to be. Sorry about that. My PC froze a little. I'm really liking this music, by the way. That's freaking awesome. Memo tune. Definitely worth it. It generated this music you're hearing is literally generated by this cover. Pretty cool. All right. I'm probably going to say that numerous times because I think that is so neat. Yeah, so what do we see here? We see Frazetta. Do I have my pointy ruler? Where's my ruler? My pointer. I'm gonna use a pencil today. We got Frazetta and Isherwood on top. So Frank Frazetta, I believe he passed away. I'm guessing. I think it was like late to that 2010, somewhere in there, 2011. So Frazetta Girls, which is his estate. And it's his granddaughters who currently run Frazetta Girls, and I believe this is Sara Frazetta's work. By the way, Frazetta Girls, their focus is to maintain the sword and sorcery aesthetic that Frank Frazetta introduced to the genre. Yeah, so we got Isherwood, we got Geof Isherwood as the artist, which is fantastic. Isherwood is from Canada, my hometown in Canada, so it's nice to it's nice to see a book that features his work predominantly. So what do we see here? We see, like, check out that sword. That is awesome. And we got a very young Nekron. All right, in the film, he's more kind of regal, older. Here we've got this Grim Warrior. Looks freaking awesome. I could be wrong. I think this is a one-shot. That's a shame. It'd be really cool to see Nekron on in his earlier days. And we got the weapon here, the massive blood-stained blade. That's pretty cool. We got the blood dripping on the steps. That's great. And this, the background, that teal color, I mean, that's great. That's kind of giving a dark, decaying fortress look, and that teal gives a cold, icy atmosphere. It fits the character perfectly. It fits Nekron and the whole concept of fire and ice just perfectly. Oh, and to be clear, this is not Isherwood. This is Dan Panosian. Yeah. And he's kind of doing at least I think he's kind of, doing texture and that heavy line work that's so infamous in the 70s and 80s fantasy art. This cover alone, it just screams dark fantasy. It's gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna open this book up. I'll be back in a moment. Actually, I'll open it up all with you. I should probably do it that way. Open it up with you, and I'm gonna take a... Oh, wow. It's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, fantastic. Great opening to this book. So we got Nekron. Take a look at this inside cover. Quite a contrast, eh? We got Nekron, quite, I don't know, he looks little older here. Yeah, he's seated on the throne. It's a little bit more calculated and composed, eh? This is kind of more the Nekron we see in the movie. This is not. That is a very different looking Nekron. And of course we got Sara Frazetta as the writer, Isherwood is the artist. So Isherwood and Emil Lund are doing the colors. That's interesting. I thought it was mostly Isherwood. I thought it was all Isherwood, actually. Ecclebury the letterer, and Matt Idelson is the editor. You just move the book over a little bit, give you a better view. What else has Sara Frazetta done? I'm actually quickly looking that up. Okay, she's done Vampirella Dead Flowers. At least she was the co-writer there. Jengar and Shred. She's credited with as a writer on this series, which began in 2021. I don't know that one. She contributed to art to Red Sonja number 20. That's cool. That's volume 5. That's probably Dynamite Comics as well. Vampirella, Trial of the Soul. And she's also part of the book Frazetta Tales of Science and Fantasy. Really cool. Let's look at the first page, our warmest page of what's probably going to be the warmest page of the entire book. And this is the Sylvari. So we're in the home of the Sylvari, which is a lush forest. Yeah, and Isherwood does a great job here. The art, it's full of life. We see the peaceful village, people bathing, hunting, gathering. It's great. Already quite a contrast to the dark imagery we saw on the cover. Quite a difference. Take a look at that. Just take a look at that. It's an incredibly dark and atmospheric, and now we've got this beautiful, lush forest. Void of any ice or coldness. And so here we got Thaleia, the young priestess of the Sylvari. And what did she describe herself here as the keeper of the chain of nature? She says she's responsible for the domain of soil, bird, and branch. Yet she's climbing high to the trees to gather fruit. She mentions here that only, where does she mention that? She says only those willing to climb taste the sweetness. Hints at her determination and perhaps maybe some recklessness from Thaleia. Oh, and then we've got the crack. And so this peaceful vibe, it already abruptly stops. The loud crack stops that peaceful moment in the Sylvari forest. And we see her falling. And the narration here, but Thaleia was also other things. I think this is possibly foreshadowing what's to come. If we know the story of Fire and Ice, I think we know what Thaleia becomes. So this is pretty much foreshadowing the events that are about to take place. Off to page 2 and page 3. All right, page 2. This is the union of Thaleia and Cador. Right away we get the narration. Headstrong, impetuous, dare we say, reckless. So while she's a priestess, Thaleia, she clearly has a wider side that sets her apart from others in her tribe. Yeah, we see Cador is clearly enamored by Thaleia. So I was watching her with admiration. And we see here he's unable to hide his love for her free spirit. And so this here is a summer solstice ceremony. The tribes gathered by the water at sunset. And we see our tribal elder, possibly a shaman, it's not clear. And he's presiding over the union of Thaleia and Cador, declaring that they shall be as one, forever entwined. Yeah, they're holding hands, they share that kiss to seal the bonds. And just like that, though, the dark omen arrives. We have a raven. And a large black raven at that. And so the young lovers, quite happy, sealing their union with that kiss, but the rest of the villagers are looking quite disturbed by the sight of the raven. And we understand that in the text here is that the raven will bring a time of shadows. So yeah, Cador, Thaleia, kind of oblivious to all, but we close that page with the raven. And things are getting darker now. We're seeing kind of a darker layout on page 3. And the time of shadows predicted on page 2 seems to be manifesting itself immediately within our third page here. That warmth of the wedding is now replaced by what appears to be impending trouble. Yeah, I love Isherwood's use of the raven here. It's kind of this like seen as a visual anchor across those panels on page 3. And it's not just a background element, it takes the raven is taking up this entire frame. And I could be wrong here, but the detail on this page, I don't know, this might be Isherwood leaning in to Frazetta's style. I can't be sure of that. I'm not. I have a lot of Geof Isherwood in my comic collection, but I can't say I know his work intimately. But I feel he's kind of throwing a nod here to Frank Frazetta with that kind of defined expression and those like exaggerated facial features. I'm pretty sure that's Frazetta. Pretty cool. Yes, and quite the contrast again, right? We've got this. Let's just go back to page 1 for a moment. So as I think I might have creased it just a little bit there. We got the lush forest. We've got this beautiful, open, airy scene by the sea. Things are starting to close in, though. We're getting kind of a more sharper, jagged-looking page. And the environment is clearly changing. So it's interesting. Who's controlling the raven? I don't know. It's like the raven is watching them. So I don't know. Is someone able to see them through the raven? I'm not sure. Oh yes, and we end this page with a no. Thaleia is asking, what is it? Let's move on. Let's move to page 4. Did we find out who's controlling the raven? Oh wow. What is happening? Okay, I'm gonna enjoy this page, and I'll be right back with page 4 or 5. Alright, page 5. Pretty nice. Wow, this is Geof Isherwood. Nice high stakes action, raw motion. So this is the Dragonhawk. I believe these guys, we see them in Fire and Ice, and I believe I think they're called Dragonhawks. So I'd say that's it for the Solari and their peaceful existence, their peaceful domain. They're now shattered by the arrival of a Dragonhawk. Yeah, that's so nice. The way it's pretty wild. You can almost like feel that destructive heat. Yeah, this page is like Isherwood at his finest. And I think what's really striking here is the our newlyweds and their reaction. Kater and Thaleia. It's kind of a stunned silence. You see Thaleia catching her chest, clutching her chest. Her eyes are wide, reflecting the orange glow of that destruction. Oh yes, yeah. And we see the Silveria in total disarray. And so certainly this is taken right from Fire and Ice, right from the lore of Fire and Ice. But I think it's also I think it's also kind of taking in some of that energy that Frank Frazetta was famous for. This kind of larger than life scenes. You know, he was kind of infamous for some like hellish yellows, oranges against those dark backgrounds. So the colors are perfect for Frazetta. Cador, she yells. Yeah, so we see the Silveri village now in ruins. We see them fleeing. I think they're heading to the shore. They're going to abandon their village. And again, the bright yellows and oranges against that dark. It's like a suit color. That's great. And so here we see Cador. Yeah, being the hero. Look at this. I can't leave them crying. I hear them crying. I can't leave them behind, he says to Thaleia, who wants him to join her. So he decides he can't leave them behind. So quite the hero here. Helplessness going on there within Thaleia, really. She's really kind of helpless in this particular page. Another Dragonhawk. Oh, so now we got two. Yes, two Dragonhawks now come in. I thought that was the same one, but I'm realizing now that is a second Dragonhawk. And we're getting a much clearer look at the attacker, right? The rider's wearing that horned helmet, bird-like armor. And this, what is this? It's like a, I don't know, a flaming mace of some kind. And look at the eyes. Definitely predatory eyes. So we got quite the cliffhanger here. Cador is now separated from Thaleia by fire and the new aerial threat, which are the Dragonhawks. Oh my. Off to page 7. Holy smokes. Oh, that is... I mean, that's just freaking awesome. I'll be right back after I enjoy this page. Alright. This is page 7 and 8, and wow, what a lot of destruction. What a lot of destruction going on within these pages. The Silveri home is clearly no more. Yeah, a lot of destruction. Yes, and we see the Masked Rider. Spare no one, he yells. Quite ruthless. And we got that visual again. Boom. I probably said that wrong. Yeah, emphasizing that fiery destruction. And we see Thaleia, really just no more than a silhouette against that wall of, look at that hot fire and falling embers. And with the narration, the inferno was silent. She had but one thought, which was Cador. This highlights her emotional shock, while the world around her is roaring with noise. She had gone internally numb without worry for her husband. And this is an interesting twist here. We've got the toll on nature's, the toll of war on nature. So we see a mother bear and her cub huddled in the shadows. Oh, and I think there's even oh yeah, it's a fox right here. So even the animals are fleeing the scene. And we see here that the narration suggests that that nothing is left unscorched, and that the blaze raged for what seemed hours without end. So it wasn't just really a raid, this was much more. It was an act of like ecological and cultural erasure. I mean, they're gone. Yeah, there's no more Sylvani anymore. It's pretty powerful. And over to page 8. I mean, what a beautiful frame this is. I mean, we see she's devastated. Thaleia's world is essentially collapsed here. This is AI-generated music based on this comic. It is not bad, actually, but there's some strange parts to it as well. And to tell you the truth, as I'm reading these pages, I'm taking little breaks and generating more music, so you're going to hear more music as the pages go on. Yeah, and this burning skull, we've seen this before. This burning skull, that's like reminiscent of the old weird fantasy, where kind of fantasy blends with horror. I mean, the flaming skull is like that traditional trope. Yeah, it's kind of cool to see it here. And I think, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but this, although it is a trope, I think it's also symbolizing the death of her village, really. Yeah, and really her only option at this point is instinct took over, right? Instinct took over, and all there was left to do was to run. So she really has nothing left to do. She's out. Oh, but what's this? Yes, oh, we see an artifact. Yeah, some metallic object. We'll probably learn more about this soon. But it looks like one of the riders has dropped it. It looks like, I don't know, some kind of ceremonial crest or something. And it looks like it's some kind of yellow flame. And I think this might be some kind of, I don't know, physical object of some kind that links her world to her attackers. So now she's got like something tangible that she can target. Assuming she's gonna seek revenge. That's probably where this is gonna go, being a sword and sorcery story. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see vengeance. Over to page 9 and 10. Oh boy. I think we can already see the colors starting to shift. Okay, I'm gonna enjoy this, and I might be back with a new song. Page 9. So, Thaleia has made it to shore, and she finds a single boat that seems, what did she say, that untouched by the flames. So she's using every ounce of her strength here to push the wooden boat against that surf. Her goal right now is to escape. And it's beautiful. We see the sun setting, and you know, I can see by the subsequent pages that might be the last time we see warmth and sun for some time. That's my guess. And so as she drifts by the shoreline, she searches for life, for antlers, for even a bird. She's looking for any life within her Sylvania home, and she finds none. No life came, is what the narration confirms. And her heart is described as being in her throat. Really capturing that moment of grief. So she's truly alone in these pages. And I think vengeance is about to take place. We see her pulling out that artifact from the previous page. She takes a closer look and recognizes it as being from a place referred to as Firekeep. Hollow and dangerous, vengeance took hold. So really, there's nothing left in Thaleia. She's hollow and now becoming dangerous with her vengeance. So she's got the new destination, and that is going to be Firekeep, which is pretty far away, and she's got a long journey ahead of her. And so the narration here is perfect, right? This is most likely Frazetta's writing. The storm. Storm rose with her, acting as a mirror to the hardening of Thaleia's heart and mind. So she's certainly becoming someone different in these, in only 2 pages. She's starting to really change. The softness she once held is now gone. As the salted wind tears at her, stripping away the softness she once carried. Yeah, it's great. And Thaleia's really struggling here against the ropes. Her boat is slowly falling apart. There's no one to guide her. So the boat, on its own, starts to drift north. And the bird's eye view is fantastic here. Way to go, Isherwood. We get a bird's eye view, really showing how fragile that vessel is compared to the sea, the vast open sea. And our final panel, once she makes it to shore, we see a figure, a caped figure. And this is classic sword and sorcery introduction. I think we even see that in, I can't remember which Conan movie it was. I believe it was the second movie. There's a character that makes an introduction, and all we see is his silhouette as it comes closer. Yeah, so this emptiness here really kind of reflects or represents Thaleia's emptiness right now. She's got nothing left, nothing to live for. Although we do know vengeance is starting to take its hold. So, not sure who this is going to be. Yeah, let's move on to page 11. Okay, so it looks like we are going to meet that caped figure, and oh my, is this Fire Keep? We're going to have to find out. Page 11. Page 11 and 12, so looks like here we're meeting the Sisters of the Ice. And her savior right away remarks, by God, by the gods, you are alive. He or she mentions, few travel here. Those who do rarely leave. And we see these nice wolf-like statues by Isherwood. So Thalia is brought inside. We see this massive hearth. Look at that. It's just amazing. That's huge. That's huge in comparison. It really is. We get this feeling this is like a, I don't know, a sisterhood-like order. I mean, the way they're all seated in a circle. We've seen that before. We saw it in some of the Call books, Conan, Scourge of the Serpent, and now even Fire and Ice Nekron. This ritualistic gathering. It's interesting. Yeah, an Isherwood there. This might be Isherwood, but like we got those nice deep blues blended in with that bright orange fire. It's really, really nice. And we're starting to see a setup here. The fact that they're telling her of her untapped potential. Your journey has tempered you, yes, but there is more within you, untapped. Tell us if you dare. On to page 12. So we find out more about these women in the narration. We find out they are priestesses. But they bow only to the night and whisper spells of great power. And we've got I probably said that wrong. There's this massive sound effect. And right across the center of the page. And I'd say this is the focus of the entire page, is the incredible sound followed by Thalia's look of concern. She's quite startled by that. She asks, "What is that?" She's concerned. And this is the first time we hear of Ulgior. I'm saying that wrong, but that's how I'm going to say his name, Ulgior. Whose spirit is bound in the vault beneath their cathedral. Thaleia asks if Ulgior is a king or wizard. But the response is probably not what she wants to hear, which is he is so much more than any of us know. They suggest she ceases her curiosity. And a final warning is given to her as she's brought to her room. The priestesses warn her that we live here by the grace of Ulgior. We can only plead he shows you mercy. So Thaleia has become the prisoner. On to page 13. Wow. Yeah, those blues are fantastic. Well, looks like something is about to wake her up from her slumber, from her sleep. Alright, I'm going to enjoy this and I will be back. Okay, page 13, The Call of the Beast. So we see Thaleia here falling into a deep sleep, only to be awakened. Yes, we got these like blue, I don't even know what to call that, tendrils, I guess, of some kind, sneaking into her room. And the voice she hears is Avenge Firekeep. And suddenly we see two massive glowing blue eyes. Probably so far is one of my favorite series of panels. It's just so awesome. So I'm assuming this must be Ulgior. Probably still saying that wrong. Those must be his eyes. And what he's saying here is that he knows how to shape your desire. And he's describing himself as a hunger that's waiting for her. And so we start our descent. Thaleia leaves her chamber and descends deeper into the cathedral. We see, it's interesting, artifacts of centuries past, which are animal skulls. It's hard to say if those are animals or not. That might be a wolf skull. It's hard to say. I think what this is really doing, these panels are setting up that whole primal predatory nature of the power that she's now seeking. Yeah, and we see Thaleia standing before a massive encrusted portal. Again, it's that same image of the skulls that we saw in the previous panel. It's pretty cool. I love the glow of that lantern. That looks so good. Maybe hard to see that, but it's almost like casting this long glow. And her determination. She's bent determination into anticipation. And that anticipation is turning into confusion. And so this is leading us to the Book of Shadows. It's almost like a lingering pull. And I like Isherwood with these, I should move my hand so you could see, but these tendrils, these blue tendrils that swirl around the room. It kind of creates a focal point on this object. It's like a floating tome or something. And then we see the book flop, 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 as the pages open up. Those pages are turning on their own. She has not touched that book. And we get this cryptic line. The book ends on this page, where the wolves wait, so shall your crown. This is what the narrator is telling us. Oh, that's great. That's great. Moving on to the page. I think this is going to be page 15, and wow. Oh my goodness. Look at the wolves almost blend in. Wow. We see Thaleia clutching the book, that mysterious book that she found in the previous page, and the mist is guiding her. She pleads with the mist, in fact, to lead her on. And so we were in this warmer cathedral to now sub-zero temperatures, and it's brutal. We see the effect it's having on Thaleia. In fact, she's describing it as pain like nothing she had ever felt, jolting through her rib cage as she gasps for breath in the frozen air. And that growl has returned. Doing that probably not doing that growl justice, but the growl is back. And suddenly she finds herself in the circle. In this case, it's now a circle of wolves, where she is the center of that circle. Excuse me. And the wolves all share the same pale blue eyes. In fact, we see those eyes glowing. I just noticed that, actually. I didn't notice that on my first read of that page. But those pale blue eyes are quite bright as they shine through the night. And so the mist, we got this is probably another sword and sorcery motif. The mist is connecting all the wolves together, including Thaleia. So it suggests maybe that she isn't being cornered, but really is more being chosen. But the question is by what or by whom? And obviously we move to this beautiful page 16. It's quite a large panel. Takes up the full page, of course. And yes, the supernatural. Isherwood is now switched right from supernatural right into pure fantasy horror. And we really get an appreciation for the full scale, how large Ulgior is. That's incredible. So yes, who is he? Well, he is. So he is the shadow that teaches the hand to kill. And the hunter's law. Or is it claw? The hunter's claw. Hunter's law, claw, fang, pursuit. Call me Ulgior. And Thaleia recognizes right away that, wait, the book was his baited hook. The wolves are his sentinel, the smoke his whisper, and the book his baited hook. Yeah, so Isherwood does a great job here with the scale and dominance of this frame. It's incredible. Look at that, Thaleia. She looks so small, kind of insignificant compared to the size of Ulgior. And those thick, jagged lines that make up his fur. Look at that. That is so great. That's really nice texture and detail. And of course we got our blues and purples, right? Like now, clearly the cold is dominating these pages. And again, I have a funny feeling we're not going to leave this coloring for quite some time. So this is really the choice. Thaleia has the choice to choose between her humanity or her revenge. What is going on here? Wow. Oh, I have a funny feeling humanity for Thaleia is no more. So I'll enjoy this page and be right back. Wow, a lot going on in these 2 pages. Let's look at page 17. The Toll of Ruin. So we see Thaleia here demanding to Ulgior, give me the instrument to destroy Firekeep. In which Ulgior responds, every bargain has its toll. Thaleia mentions she has lost all that is precious to her. Take what you must, she says. As long as he gives her the instruments of vengeance. And so we see Ulgior looming over her, and suddenly we've got this green tinted panel, a little different than the previous panels. It's kind of a ghostly translucent face there. But the final panel shows Thaleia collapsed, her body surrounded by that swirling energy. And the narration notes that dormant lay the seed of retribution. And really, we're seeing Thaleia here in total vulnerability. I mean, once she removes her robes, she is now given up what is ever left, and she's allowing herself to become completely vulnerable. we still have that blue mist Isherwood has put in, weaving between all the panels. And the bloody toll of retribution begins. Page 18. As Thaleia takes a long trek back south from the far map, where she says, where maps and ice peaks squatted upon the tundra. And she encounters two guards, who ask Frozen, do you feel cold? Thaleia's response is rather detached. I've managed without incident thus far, she says. A very different Thaleia than the first page, that is for sure. And so she's seeking the king. She wants to see King Fenwar of Fire Keep. As one of them mentions or questions the book. What's in this book? Why are you holding that book? The pages are blank. What trick is this? Blank to you, maybe, she responds, as suddenly we see a picture of a heart. And once she ends the incantation, suddenly we get the gruesome scene where the guard's heart is ripped from his body. So the surviving guard immediately falls into a state of, I guess, submission, and yes, mistress, I will take you to our king. Yeah, it's a great page. And we're seeing very different facial features now. She's almost a new person, looking very, Isherwood's drawn her in a more predatory, hardened way. You know, her eyes in the beginning panels, beginning pages, had joy. Now they seem to be filled with grief. And the use of bright red here. The heart, the blood. I mean, certainly that's where your eyes are drawn towards. It's a visual emphasis for sure. And that is interesting. She's draped in purple, which really goes well with the color. Yes, and that was her robe she had on originally. I had thought for a second that possibly that was a new color, but it's not. It's her deep purple and black robe. Do we meet the king? There is the king. This book, I find, travels fast, which is great. I'm not knocking that at all. Every page, there's so much going on here. I mean, we can see already this king doesn't look like the king is gonna survive here to page 21. But we are on page 19, and this looks like the court of King Fenwar. So we see King Fenwar, quite the burly man here, seated on a throne. And he immediately talks about his search among his own people for a royal consort. Enter Thaleia, who is now hiding under the name of Juliana. which I'm glad because it's an easier name to say. And suddenly, though, which this caught me by surprise, but Juliana or Thaleia is pregnant. So is it possible that this scene here, she's becoming impregnated? Could be. I don't know. Or is that Kadar's child? We'll have to find out. I have no clue. So, Thaleia being pregnant offers the king the child. He shall be yours, she says. And Fenmar's pretty excited about this proposition. And isn't this interesting? The page opens with Fenmar sitting in the throne, but ends with Juliana now sitting in the throne. So in the span of one page, he's pretty much taken full control of at the very least the king, if not the kingdom itself. Wow. Oh, we've got wolves who've come into the room. The feast of the beast. And so this is Fenmar's private chamber, and he's got his got his servants with him. The prince sleeps tonight, but Thaleia's in the background. With that book, with that tome, the book she got from the tome. And so suddenly, of course, Isherwood here, this is fantastic, draws our attention to this bright red panel where the massacre occurs. Fenmar and his companions there, they're caught in a frenzy of claws and teeth. And we get this total look of satisfaction from Juliana, from Thaleia. Wow. And our final panel shows us the aftermath, right? Quite gruesome. And we got kind of Thaleia there, like the widow in black now we can call her. It's maybe a little hard to see there, but you can see her silhouette, and she's, says, "Dear, oh dear, quite a mess." Oh boy. Oh wow. So this is page 21. Alright, so after the slaughter in the previous page, it turns out it's more than just a slaughter, but more of a calculated political maneuver. So she's no longer this hidden assassin we saw in the previous 2 pages. She's now thrust into becoming a public ruler. And I think this is this is part of that crown prophecy at the beginning of this book, where she seeks the crown. She wants a crown. So the guards do discover the slain king, and his companions, the guards' companions, can't believe he's been partially consumed, which is pretty brutal. That is, oh boy, that is pretty gruesome. So Thaleia is still using her alias of Juliana, and presents the token of arrogance we saw on the first page. Not the first page, but the first couple of pages. This is when the riders, one of them had dropped this object. And she uses this as an object to frame the assassins of Fire Keep for the massacre. And the council immediately buys into this. They believe the king fought valiantly against the invaders. So far, Juliana's plan is working. At one point, she's asked, who is going to take the throne? What are we going to do now, though? And she declares, I will take the mantle. It is mine to bear. She basically tells the council that King Fenmar declared her child the future prince, which automatically solidifies her as the queen. And the council isn't quite sure. One of them mentions here that this is highly irregular. Yes, this guy here. So I'm not sure they all believe what's happening. And one of them even notes that the horrors shall soon be visited upon whoever wears the crown next. But the council decrees, and all hail Juliana, Queen of the Ice Peak. I mean, this is quite a striking panel. I'm gonna try to fix the book just a little bit. I mean, look at the how Isherwood draws her face. It's almost like expressionless. She's hollow. She's now just no more than a vessel. Really like this vessel of vengeance that Ulgior has demanded of her. But Thaleia has successfully infiltrated the kingdom. In this case, I guess it's Ice Peak. I might have said Firekeep earlier, but it looks like this is the kingdom of Icekeep, and Firekeep is going to be taking the fall for the death of the king. But this kingdom is now under her command, and we see that here. All hail Queen Juliana. And this is the next morning. And we see what looks like the citizens, the citizens of Ice Peak. They've gathered in this massive stone area. And Thaleia is fully accepted as the queen, obviously. Chanting all hail the queen. However, we see that book again, and she's chanting a new spell, which immediately starts to transform the populace, and it's again quite a gruesome scene. Isherwood's really giving us this wide angle panel right here, so we can really see the full scale of the manipulated crowd. And again, a circle. We've got that symbolic circle. Almost looks like a compass. Hard to say. Might have something to do with direction. Possibly a new direction is being forced on the people. It definitely has something to do with the spell. But this, I believe, is going to be an important spell, because what we are seeing on, this is going to be page 23. We see the result of Thaleia's spell. The men are choking and vomiting. It's quite gruesome, and this very much looks like the people that we see in Fire and Ice, the 1983 animation. So it gives us an appreciation for how and why they are slightly deformed and mutated. Kind of these green-skinned Hulk-looking figures. We see the red-hooded council members. They really pop out on these pages. One of them screams, "I knew she was a witch!" And of course, she chants her spell, and they watch in horror as her people are turned into beasts. We see one crying out, "What have you done? What have you done to our people?" "Silence, I'm your queen." "Not a witch," she responds. "Always, your majesty." Oh my goodness. So Thaleia is claiming her magic has simply bred loyalty into her subjects. Yeah, and Isherwood does a great job here. The transformation of the Icepeak people into these mutated councilmen, pretty good. Really good work by Geof Isherwood. So it looks like her army is ready. Is she going to make her way to Fire Keep? So let's look at page 24 here. So yeah, the narration notes that citizens have had the last vestiges of their old selves purged. They now stand as warriors, but silent. And they all sit in silence, stand in silence as their new the new order begins. Their new ruler prepares to take her place in the kingdom. I got a very powerful wide panel here. We get to see the wilderness surrounding the fortress. Oh yes, I almost missed this. Some of the wolves in the foreground, again with those eyes. And the narration mentions that the frigid winds, even the frigid winds, cannot dampen their cries. So Thaleia has her crown. She has her army. And the blessing of a dark god. So the stage has been set. Will she return to Firekeep to seek vengeance? Let's move on. Wow, okay, so I guess we're fast forwarding to the future. So clearly time has passed since the coronation. And the sky is pelting sleet like daggers. I guess that's pathetic fallacy for what's going on inside the castle, which is the birth of Juliana's son. And she decides to name him Celadon, which in this flashback we see she had agreed to name her firstborn, if it was a boy, after Caden's father. And we see reality intruded, the narrator says. This past glimpse of her past really intrudes into, it's kind of like her old life suddenly coming back. So we have Celadon, who was born, but it's not over. Just as she's told she can hold her son, Juliana realizes that it's not over. I never considered twins. Uh-oh. So the atmosphere in the room instantly shifting from a moment of relief to absolute dread, as the midwife notices that something is different. Yeah, so the color, the coloring here is fantastic, right? We got these very sickly hues. Flashback is bright and colorful, but the current is very cold, dark, and sickly. Everyone looks terribly ill. And there's a few moments here, the look in her eyes, there's this moment where it's almost like her mask slips, kind of revealing the physical vulnerability of Juliana underneath. But look at this, we have twins. Happy Boy and I'm not sure what that is. So we have two Princes of Ice Peak. that are presented to Thalia, or Juliana. So Kaladin, we see him here crying out, and we're not seeing that from the other, who is so silent. And looking at those eyes, those terrifying eyes, I think she realizes right away that these are wolf eyes. So this child must be like a manifestation of the wolf god. So Thalia calls for her guards. As the guards come in, the council men, we overhear them talking about the fact that the Ice Peak has now sunk into anarchy and ruins. So Juliana summons her loyal Spurk. The Spurks being one of the mutated warriors. And she calls one over for a dark task. She commands the warrior to take this one out beyond the sentry points. Leave him where the snow drifts high. Oh, and she's even using a spell. I missed that. I missed that on this page. She's using some kind of spell, then you will forget. I totally missed that. Obviously, this guard is going to forget that he was ever part of this scheme. And look at this child just sitting there going, what's going on? Oh my. Wow. I'm not going to pause the page. I'm going to quickly... This is page 27, okay. Yeah, so that's Kaladin. So we see Kaladin, he's being nursed. She looks quite happy here. Juliana suckled her firstborn son, trying to think of the future. Good. The deed will soon be done, and you shall be sole heir of my wonderful boy. So we see an exhausted Juliana here. It's pretty wild. Good job on Isherwood again. His art is just so great here. But she's roused by the terror of nightmares. Spirit Wolf, she questions. I didn't summon you. So who did? Who did summon the Spirit Wolves? That's a beautiful. Another silhouette of Juliana overlooking her realm. Again, the nice deep blues. Oh, it's great. Good work. Off to page 28. Thaleia is holding on to Kaladin quite tightly, telling the spirit wolves that he is mine, be gone. But then suddenly the wolves, we hear, there he is right there. They come to thank you, dear Thalia, or Juliana, for introducing my son to me, so considerate of you. And he reveals the second twin. This is obviously who she tried to cast into oblivion. And we get the naming of Nekron. I choose wisely. You will call him Nekron. Raise him to be king. I will take time. I'm nothing if not patient. Or have you lost your appetite for vengeance? And she has not. Excuse me. I mean, really, what choice does she have at this point? Other than to agree to keep working with Ulgior on the plot that they've started. I mean, really, she has no choice. She's got to. She's already committed. Aha! Wow. Okay, the final page. And this is Prince Nekron, so time has certainly passed. Endless blizzards, obscured in the years that pass in time. Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, we see Nekron here, the red hooded councilman is urging the young prince to action. Noting that your mother feared you from the moment you drew breath. So this guy, I don't know who he is. He maybe plays a role in as his advisor in the movie. He's trying to convince Nekron into action. So clearly he's got some kind of sway or power. Yes, we see Nekron here. Isherwood drawing a fantastic Nekron. He's definitely a younger version, right? And his strength almost looks like that of the mutated warriors. And the gargoyle, look at this. It sits on a throne, and attached to the throne is this massive gargoyle. Gotta hit my camera there. And clearly he does not like his mother. Saying here that her lies reek with the stench of rotting flesh. Oh, jeez. So he dismisses her here as really giving him nothing more than fear. And we've got the call to war in his final few sentences in this story. It's demanding wine purple with grief and news of fire keeps weakness. So that's it. I guess the vengeance that Thaleia sought is now in his command. And we close with perhaps my time has come. So Nekron is going to take on his mother's vengeance. So that's it. Thaleia's story. It kind of ends in a bit of a tragic note, at least in terms of her character. So her husband, Kador, the destruction of her village, he sacrifices her name, her memory, even her soul to the Wolf Guard. I mean, she did successfully take the throne of Ice Peak. She did forge an army. Ultimately, she gave birth to the very horror that would surpass her. But I guess that vengeance, she never got the vengeance she wanted, and instead it seems to have passed that on to Nekron. And Nekron who views his own mother as an obstacle to be overcome. Interesting. I guess what's unclear is Thaleia still alive at this point. Just seeing if I perhaps missed a page. And I mean, this is the exact origin and tie-in to the movie. Great segue into the movie, which I will admit I have forgotten. I have not watched that movie in decades, so it's definitely something I have on my list to check out. But that is it. This is a nice oversized book. Oh, and there we got Sara Frazetta from FrazettaGirls.com. They have a cool looking sculpted Nekron. Pretty sweet. You can pre-order that. Guess with this code over here. It's probably, by now it's probably available. This book came out just before Christmas. Barella, Harley Quinn, Elvira. Neat. Yep, that's definitely... Oh, yes, and the blank covers. Definitely trying to score one of these. They're quite hard to find. My hope is that I can get Isherwood at my next Comic-Con to get him to do a drawing for me. Okay, hey, this has been a rather long hour and a half. My goodness, long episode of Let's Read Fire and Ice Nekron. Thank you for watching.